Hello, friends, and welcome to the 51st Annual Mule Day Festival and Parade. I'm Lewis Maddox, bringing you the parade broadcast from the front porch of WKRM and WKOM 101.7 and 103.7. I'm joined alongside Sarah Elizabeth McLeod, Brady Carr, and Drake Colley today. And guys, obviously you can probably hear we've got a little bit of wind.
We're in a wind
on.
tunnel today.
Yes. Yeah, nice breeze.
But yeah, it's kind of helping out a little bit.
Keeping it cool.
With the heat. So we've got some cloud coverage. We think that the weather is going to hold off for the parade today. We hope that it's going to hold off. But parade is just moments away. Sarah Elizabeth is going to be bringing us all types of history and facts from the history of the Mule Day Parade.
Interesting tidbits about mules and the Mule Day Parade as we are. This is the 51st, right? Now,
yes.
Tell me if we get this right. This is the 51st annual Mule Day since it was resurrected
In 74.
and now run by our good friends at the Bridle and Saddle Club.
That is correct. Bridle and Saddle Club. We get it.
And Lewis, let's remind folks if they're hearing us on the radio right now, but they can't get down to the parade and see it live. Tell them where they can see online, because we're streaming live video right now.
Yeah, we're not just on the radio. We're on video. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch at WKOM. Those social channels, and you can also go to WKOMradio.com online to find the live stream of today's broadcast. The parade. I mean, I think we've got the best seats in the house. I've always thought that. I love broadcasting the parade because, you don't have to fight for a seat out here, which is it's a hot commodity to get a seat right in front and on the street view.
And we all get to do what we do best, and that's just talk.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Talk about Mule Day. What else is there to do on Mule Day, right?
And I'm telling you what, we're looking at the crowd is swelling here as the church bells just rang to start the commencement of the 51st Annual Mule Day Parade, and it will be a little while before they get down in front of us, right, Brady?
Yeah, it'll take 25-30 minutes probably for them to begin from where they are back on Cemetery to get down here.
Okay, and so that just,
we just have fun to talk about stuff.
You lucky folks out there. We could turn it over to Sarah Elizabeth, and she can tell us a little bit about the history of Mule Day in case people are out there that don't know anything about Mule Day.
Well, I have loved Mule Day my entire life. I was a few weeks old in 1983 when the Mule Day Parade was in 1983. I do not believe my parents brought me that year, but I've been every year since. I have ridden in it. I have marched in it. It's such a fun occasion. We are so blessed in our town that we had photographers in the 40s and 30s to be able to have the collective knowledge and the pictures of the downtown Columbia filled with people. It was like a sea of people and a sea of mules, and it's just a wonderful day. My daughter Ellie Grace and I were talking about it this morning. What a wonderful event this is for our community.
It is. Those old pictures, I always get a kick out of the ones where the guys are sitting on the roofs. All the buildings, They're lined the roofs, they're hanging out the windows. It is packed wall to wall, and that's the way it is here today too. It's filling in now all the way around, and you can still see people moving in.
Yes, absolutely. I remember my grandfather would bring a truck to town the night before Mule Day so we would have somewhere to sit. And it was actually in front of Red 7 Pizza before they had redone the street. And we would always sit there and always have a picnic. It was the greatest thing. And my grandfather was on the city council, so I would get to go to the Athenaeum, or where they had the dignitaries come every year, and that was fun. But it is such a beautiful day, and we're so blessed it is not raining.
Now, my college days in the early to mid 80s, and of course Mule Day had just been resurrected in 1974, so it was 10 years old. It's coming back, and of course it grew, and the crowds kept swelling and swelling. And then by the time I graduated high school in Columbia Central High School in 1981, we would come back home for Mule Day weekend, and it was one of the biggest times as a college student as Big Lou right here came back from Knoxville, as a number of Murray County, Columbia college age girls and guys will come back and enjoy Mule Day because it's just such a big party weekend, so to speak.
You couldn't be more right about that. This is my favorite holiday. It always has been, above anything else.
And it's a great time to bring friends of yours from college that don't know anything about Mule Day. Say, I tell you what, grab a couple of close friends from school and say, come on home with me and stay. Let's go to Mule Day. And they're like, Mule Day? I don't want to. Then I take them to Mule Day. And then on Sunday or Monday, we get back down to college, and they'd say, we're going next year, too.
Oh, yes. I would bring a carload of people home from MTSU. And there were people that are from Tennessee that had never been.
That's right.
And so they would be like, yes, we're going home with Sarah Elizabeth to Mule Day. And my parents never knew how many people would be piled in our house when Mule Day would come. And it would and then sometimes we would ride, and then it would take some prep to get our horses ready, and
the visitors ready, and get all that organized.
Yes. And they have the thick coats right now because we're coming into spring and they're going to shed their winter coat. Sometimes I would
you have piles, you have bushels of hair in the barn.
Wet, dry vacuum the horse to make it sure that it was parade ready. So, but it is a wonderful thing. I applaud the Murray County Bridle and Saddle Club for what they do every year with this. It takes a core of volunteers, doesn't it, Brady?
It does. We've got dozens and dozens of people that work all year round. This doesn't just spring up out of the ground at the end of the year. This is an all-year project. We're already thinking about this year.
Right.
So, it's 26 is on the way before you know it.
Well, and as anybody who has ever planned an event like this, you're always keeping mental notes. And now that we have our cell phones, y'all probably have like a note thing going on your phone, like, don't forget we need to do this next year.
And there's I would say, and Brady probably can back me up with this, the Bridle and Saddle Club and people that are involved putting this event on, which is really a week-long event. Let's just be honest. People start coming.
It's a week.
It's a real week. And it culminates on with the parade, obviously, and then out to the Murray County Park afterwards. But you guys, there's always something, you're tweaking something with it. It seems like some type of new good idea of how to move people around, how to do a traffic pattern, whatever it is. I'm sure every year you guys have suggestions within the Bridle and Saddle Club that are trying to make this event better and more spectator friendly.
Well, that's true. We have kind of a military view on that. I'm old jarhead, so we look at it and go after action report.
Oh,
so
yes.
the first two meetings after Mule Day, we'll sit and talk about what went wrong. Because the good things nobody pays attention to. It went well.
Yeah.
We're always looking for what can we make better. It's constant. We're talking about the history. When it started in 74, and we still have several directors still on the board today, okay? But when it started, the first budget was $500 to put Mule Day on. Imagine that.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable from when it started.
You think about that today, and you just what would $500 get you today in trying to put on this event? There'd just be no.
It would get you one police officer.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. But it is such a, and it's always neat to see the shirts y'all have made, the Bridle and Saddle Club, the official shirts, the belt buckles, the knives, the pins. The theme, every year's had a theme. I think about all the different themes and stuff that y'all have had through the years. Do y'all have like a laundry list of some that y'all never used or y'all thought were a bad idea?
Well, it's a kind of a struggle every year to kind of figure out something new. What is new, and so we're constantly working on that one.
Well, I tell you what, I don't mean to cut you off, but the idea of the grand marshals of this year's parade.
Phenomenal.
Is just,
timely.
You all have had some terrific grand marshals over the years, don't get me wrong, but making this the hero mules from the storms in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina is just genius.
Well, you guys, I'm kind of new to this whole parade thing. Announcing. So you guys tell me when you want me to explain it.
Well,
I tell a little story about them because
go ahead.
We've got time right now.
All right, and then that way they won't be balled up when we're coming through.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, as you said, they are the 2025 Parade Grand Marshals, but in 2024 in September, when the Hurricane Helene hit, and just stopped.
It just sat down.
It just stopped right on the Tennessee North Carolina border. It stopped, and it dumped so much rain that rivers rose 30 feet.
That's just unimaginable.
Communities were wiped out,
and complete roads were washed off the side of those mountains up there, and basically. The roads that weren't very wide to begin with, that are curling around those mountains in North Carolina and East Tennessee, were completely washed off the side of the mountain. So the only way they could get anything up there are pack mules.
Well, there's a story behind that, because the mountain mule packers are actually their real job before this. They train Tier 1 special operators to go around the world. Our military, Marines, Army, Rangers, you name it, they train them how to use pack mules and pack animals to get heavy equipment, casualties out, supplies in very remote areas around the world. And so they've been doing that since about 2010. When the War on Terror kicked off again.
Yes. Okay,
so they had a training mission ready to go the weekend Helene hit. And then, of course, they canceled it. Well, then they stopped, and they're waiting. And then they saw their power was out for 8 hours. When it came back on, they realized just how bad things were.
And this is not a training mission anymore. We got to go to work.
Exactly. So the military was with them. There was guys there getting ready to be trained their first time out, and they said, hey, we got to go. So they started carrying in insulin to backcountry, medicine, food, water. A lot of people back up in the mountains, there's only one road in, one road out, and those roads were gone. So for 11 days straight, they operated in and out of the mountains, saved hundreds of lives, literally saved hundreds of lives in that period.
Well, and they didn't know when, of course, as we know with our weather, we don't know if we need extra medicine or anything like that.
Exactly.
You have to take that for granted.
And a lot of things like insulin have to be refrigerated. Well, when your power's out, your refrigerator doesn't work. So they were bringing cold medicine into people, specialized. It was quite an operation. They had organized with the military air flights to drop things in certain areas where the mules would pick it up from the drop zone and distribute it where their helicopters couldn't get to.
That's amazing.
I'm going to predict right now that these and what are they called? They're called the Heroes. What is the official name for the mules? Are they hero mules? What are they calling them, Brady?
We call them the hero, the Mule Heroes or Hurricane Helene, but their official name is the Mountain Mule Packer Ranch.
Okay.
But they've morphed into now. This has grown so big from their social media, and everybody wanted to be a part of it and help out. So now they've created a nonprofit called Mission Mules. And they actually go around the country. They've recently been in Kentucky and West Virginia. About 6 weeks ago, there was another flood, and they went there. Well, they've had so many donations that now they're taking those donations to places around the country. And so now they've morphed from just their one little pinprick that they were doing, not a little pinprick, but their one place where they kind of became the mules, to transition into what they call mission mules. And I'd encourage anybody that's at the park to go out. They are selling hats and T-shirts and whatnot to help raise funds to continue their mission work and help people in bad times. So,
well, this is an amazing mission, and as a military man yourself, you know that mules were used
Absolutely,
in World War II, World War I.
Absolutely.
Still
are today.
Yes.
And that's something most people don't know. But when you have a crew weapon, you take the base plate for mortars about 90 pounds. How far are you going to carry that in the mountains?
That's right.
So,
and so I'm going to predict. This is my prediction. And sometimes I'm pretty good at predicting things. You just ask the people listening to sports shows. Sometimes I'm not. But
let's talk about yesterday.
This one,
today.
Sarah Elizabeth and Brady, I am sure about. And the biggest roar that we're going to hear today.
Yes.
When this parade starts running, and here I see some police blue lights coming up. But the biggest roar we're going to hear today is going to be for those pack mules.
Absolutely, and we're so excited about them. We got some wonderful presenters, the flag carriers this year, the flag presenters. I want to go ahead and sort of put in a little bit of plug for them. One of them is Sierra, is a 13-year-old racking mule. She's owned by Dale Dixon of Hendersonville. She's been at Mule Day for 10 years. So mules even come habitually every year. She showed in gated shows, and she's carrying the flag in the parade today. Another one is Lori Darlin, a 14-year-old gaited mule by Cam Dixon of Hendersonville. She's been ridden by riders all age, and she's been at the Mule Day Parade for 10 years and carrying the flag. The next one is Jolene Running Wild. She's a quarter stock mule owned by Dale Dixon of Hendersonville as well. And then Miss Flowers is a 22-year-old bay mare mule belonging to the Reese Brothers Mule Company. They are a widely known mule company. And I had a 36-year-old horse ride in the parade. He died several years ago, but we rode him in the parade.
36-year-old
He was
mule.
36. His name was King. He was the best horse ever. I think of him a lot around Mule Day, but he held forth with us in the parade, so he was still in really good condition.
Well, as we're getting started here, you guys can hear and see, if you're watching us stream this live on video on social media, you can see the Maury County Sheriff's Department leading the way, the front end of the 51st annual Mule Day Parade, and we're so happy you guys are with us. And here are the flag bearers to start us off, and I'm kind of excited. You know what I mean?
It is so exciting. When I was in the marching band, when the marching bands were in it, Maury County Public Schools is on spring break. That's why they are not in the parade. But it was so much fun. We would, at the old Daily Herald, which is now the Judicial Center parking lot, we would muster there, and we would march in this. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. There are the pack mules.
Yeah, that's
all right.
That's great to see.
Give them a hand. Let me introduce the stock and the riders as they come through. Here we're seeing the Mountain Mule Packers.
Aren't they just special?
Oh, they're beautiful.
Aren't they beautiful?
Oh, they're so pretty.
And they do such a terrific job and are so valuable. And even in today's high-tech world,
they're still useful.
What? That's right. That there's something that we couldn't get done through computers or telephones or whatever it was. We use these mules to save people's lives in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina.
And let me introduce the mules. Leading the mule pack right there is Michael Taber. He is the owner and founder. He's leading riding a 5-year-old mule horse named Brisket. His lead mules, it's Charlie and OG, the first two. They're new to the string. They're in training right now. Followed by them are Apache, Smokey, and Little Wayne of all of them.
Little Wayne.
They are veterans. They are veterans of the of the mountain where they had the problems. And then you got leading up the back is Bob Howitz. He's on Jeb. That mule did double duty, both packing and riding in the mountains. And they're followed, of course, his daughter has joined in with them. That's the newest mule. And Faith Taubert is with them as well. So we're glad to have them with us today, and all of the beautiful entries that follow. Following them, you'll also see the Mountain Mule Packers. That's the rest of the team. That's Michelle Taubert, and she's the one that keeps everything straight in the background, like all of our good wives.
Yeah, and then the two team mules behind them. You have the
honorary Grand Marshal.
The honorary Grand Marshal Grady George coming to us from Woodbury, Tennessee.
Yeah,
and just these big draft mules right here. This float with Kelby Dawn Mule Day Queen that's pulling the Mule Day Queen. Those are two big mules on the front end of that Mule Day Queen float right there. Miss Colby Dawn Fritz
and her court. Beautiful ladies.
Beautiful young ladies.
At one time, they had a regular Mule Day Queen, a Western Mule Day Queen, and an English Mule Day Queen in 1974. So we've come a long way to just have one queen of the Mule Day Parade.
Well, and following them is the Dixie Long Ears. That's another part of the Queen's float. Right behind them, you have the Mule Man of the Year, Tommy Boyd. Been a long time participant and sponsor and helper with Mule Day. He's been around a long time.
You got to comment on that first group too. Brisket and Little Wayne. Those
are fantastic.
That's got to be the best names for.
If you ever had to name an animal, you got to really think about it.
Little John, Little Wayne.
Yeah.
You got a good voice for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at our house, our animals are double named thanks to my daughter because she has a double name and I do too.
Well,
and it is so much fun. Oh, look at the little ponies.
Now those are miniature horses right there. Those are not even though mules come in all sizes, from miniature all the way up to the drafts, which are the largest of the mules. And let's real quick, Sarah Elizabeth, we talked about this. You can get a mule from
a mare and a donkey jack.
to breed to make a mule.
A mule, yes, and you get a jack or a jennet out of it.
Now, are they sterile?
Yes, they can't reproduce.
That is true. That very, very rarely. It has happened, but it's very rare.
It's very rare. And you can't do the reverse because it's just too much.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's just too much.
I got you. All right. So, mules are...
And did you know that George Washington got mules? He was the first one in America to have mules. It was a gift from King Charles of France.
Huh. Well, there you have it.
Here we go with Mayor Sheila Butt.
And
riding on the fire truck.
Murray County Rescue 1.
Oh, here, let me share a bit with this next float. Remembering World War II. Y'all give it up for this guy. Howard Cecil Whiteside is a 103-year-old World War II veteran. He's only missed one Mule Day Parade since 1934. Now, that's a fan.
That is a true fan. We saw Ashley Brown this morning. He rode in the parade in the 40s. He was talking about that this morning, and he said it was going the other way. So it came from where the post office is towards the courthouse because they had all the stuff at what is now Riverwalk Park. There's Mayor Chaz Mulder.
There he is. One of the reasons downtown Columbia and West 7th Street is so beautiful today.
It is
I'm
awesome.
just telling you.
And about to get better.
It took some growing pains to get there, but now look at West 7th Street in downtown Columbia now. It's just gorgeous.
It is awesome. It is awesome. It is a far cry from those photographs of a cow in the middle of West 7th Street.
And I'm sure Mayor Mulder had to put plenty of fires out and answer plenty of irate phone callers, but you know what? In the long run, you have to go through a little pain for some gain.
It's coming through. He's followed up by Congressman John Rose and a couple of riders. And then what is...
That's South Central Tennessee Development District.
There you go.
They cover 13 counties and 35 municipalities in the South Central area. They help provide, they have the area aging. They also have a community and economic development department, and they provide services to municipalities and counties throughout the South Central District.
Well, you see here on float number 18, that's Murray the Mule. We've been looking for him around town all week.
Yes, that is such a wonderful thing that the Murray Alliance puts on every year for children to go hide and seek in downtown businesses. Also to give their parents time to shop.
There you go.
And find a mule. We got the Columbia Central High School National Champs cheerleading squad.
Yeah, the competition cheerleading team went down and won nationals this year.
At Disney World. They had a grand time from what I heard. That's a quilt, a quilter.
That's a muleless wagon.
A muleless wagon. Oh, those people will be really tired when they get home today.
And guys, you know, as we're sitting here watching the parade and talking about the entrance coming through, I'm not sure, I really didn't realize it. I'm not sure people really realize how the history of the mule throughout the history of the United States.
They parallel.
It's very parallel.
I mean, it's just incredible. You know, and like I said, today we're living in such a high-tech, fast-moving times with electronics and technology and so forth. But before all of this, before the industrial age, before the tractor, the way that people ate, operated, industries operated, you know what they did? They used a mule to get from point A to point B or to plow their lands or whatever it was, haul coal. I was in Tampa, Florida at a wedding, and my friend of mine was marrying a girl from West Virginia. Her family was in the coal mining business in West Virginia, owned coal mines up in West Virginia. And their very elderly grandmother I was introduced to, and she said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Columbia, Tennessee." She said, "I've been to Columbia, Tennessee. I've been to Mule Day."
Oh, yeah.
I said, "You've been to Mule Day?" And she said, "I used to go with my grandfather and my father when they would go down there to buy mules for our coal mining business.
You could buy a carload of mules on a train carload and take them home. My favorite family story is my great-grandparents bought a mule on first Monday, Mule Day. My grandfather rode it home from downtown Columbia to Carter's Creek.
There you go.
8 miles.
And I didn't know this, but she told me, and real quick, she said mules are the only equine species that will bend at the knee to get through a smaller space. Horses, when they see a smaller space and can't get there, but mules will bend at the knee and pull through a smaller space, so they were perfect for the coal mining industry.
Yes.
Well, they're supremely intelligent.
They
Not
are
only
very
will they
smart.
crawl under something, but they can jump like a deer. I mean, literally, you take them hunting. They will jump a fence. You use them coon hunting and whatnot. You throw a jacket over the fence, and they'll jump right over it.
There you go.
It's magic.
Hey, there's a boat.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a boat.
Possum Holler Garage, bringing out all the goodies. My grandson was at another parade recently, and he said, Where's the big cup at, Papa? He didn't think you could have a parade.
And there it
There
is.
it is, the
There's
Red
the
Solo Cup.
For our viewers, the big solo cup.
And the radio flyer wagon. We just saw some Star Wars troopers
Yeah, we
and
did.
Darth Vader and everybody coming through.
The whole cast, really. of Star Wars.
Yes.
I actually saw the Red Solo Cup in the garage on West 7th where they keep it yesterday, and I said, well, that means it's officially here.
It's coming. It's coming. It made an impact. I know that. My 4-year-old, he's car crazy, but when he saw that, he said,
"I
you
want
can't have
one."
a parade without one.
I want one.
There's an old school John Deere tractor right there, backed up from the newest and the bestest brand new John Deere coming up.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to see the difference right there.
That is from one of our great sponsors that helps us out immensely with Mule Day, and that's Tri-Green Equipment. And if you're in need for a tractor, check out Tri-Green.
Yeah, they're right out there off of 43.
Yep.
Some of those tires are as big as people's
I know
houses.
it. Look at those tires; they're gigantic. I bet that will pull something right there. What do you think, Big Lou?
I think it might.
And it's got air conditioning and a radio inside.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Your life changes when you get an enclosed tractor, y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit of a difference.
I don't
compared
have
to the
one
first
yet, and I'm trying to get old. I may have to get one.
Well, my dad
Farming-
finally got one, and he said, "It's expensive." I said, "But you deserve it."
Yeah, farming doesn't look that bad in one of those things with some AC, some tunes going. I mean, you could probably stay out there a little longer.
I think that's why Sean McLeod likes to do hay during football season. He can listen to the game in peace and farm.
Brady, is that a John Deere snowmobile on the back of that trailer?
That's pretty rare. They don't make those anymore, I don't believe. That's a throwback.
That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. And look at here, win a mule. You can go out to the park, and actually they're having a lottery, having a drawing for a mule to raise money. So go out to the Murray County Park and visit Mule Day, and maybe you'll win a mule.
Right.
The majority of the mule teams that we've seen at this point have been the double or dual teams, 2-team mules. This is right in front of
Yes.
us, moving in front. Right. This is a 3-team.
3-team mule.
Yeah,
and they're the best mule and wagon entry. And before that was Reese Brothers, Rufus Reese. They got first place in the best mule and wagon entry. Congratulations, y'all. That's fantastic.
And you know these entries and these people that come to Mule Day, they come from all over America. I mean,
It is amazing.
I would almost guarantee you today here in Columbia we have representatives from every state in the union. I mean, every
Probably
state.
so.
I mean,
Probably
they
so.
come and they enjoy Mule Day and participate in it, and we just couldn't be happier to have them.
There is Miss Rodeo Tennessee riding through on her steed.
She's shined up. She's sparkly. She got.
All sparkles everywhere.
I know, but I mean, she's really fancy. She's got those fancy chaps on. She's looking fancy.
Are those the miniature mules we were talking about earlier?
Yes. Well, they're a
Well,
little
they're
bit
smaller.
smaller. They're smaller. They're about the size of a pony.
What is that, best pony mule?
That's
Is that-
the best pony and mule wagon entry. They are so pretty. We had a mule at our farm when I was growing up. His name was Slick Hickman. And Slick and Daddy did not get along. He was born in a mud puddle. That's why his name was Slick. And we sold him at the last mule sale y'all had here. He went to be a pack mule. So
That's
I don't
a good
know.
job for him.
I don't know where he is now. Bless his heart. My grandmother used to get so upset that we sent him to be a pack mule.
Well, mules kind of get a bad rap, stubborn, dumb, whatever the deal is. But as Brady said, that could be no farther from the truth.
No, they are so smart.
That's true. They're smart enough not to hurt themselves. I've had them refuse on a trail to jump into something, and then had somebody in a horse tell me, "Well, look, your mule won't do that," and then jump into a big, deep mud puddle. Yeah. Much more intelligent. That's the problem, is they're out thinking their owner a lot of times.
Yeah. and another thing about Mule Day that's so great is that these entries and these people that come from Missouri and Arkansas and all around Tennessee and participate in this, these are farmers that have been around for decades and decades and generations. And you know what? They've got big John Deeres and Massey Fergusons on their property. They really don't need a mule, but they grew up with mules. They appreciate mules and they love mules, and that's why they have these mule teams now.
That's right. They love the heritage of it, and their fathers and grandfathers, grandfathers often had them.
And they want to carry on that tradition.
Yes. They carried on. I saw 3 young men lead mules out yesterday, and I said, "I like to see that, young people with mules." And that guy was coming up behind him. He said, "Those are my boys."
Oh,
so
I
you're
love
starting
it.
them right.
I love it.
Look at this thing coming
Well,
through right
what
now. I
is-
think this one might be bigger than the one we
it's
saw
got-
with
It's
Tracker.
got mule ears.
Well, this is another one of our sponsors.
What do you farm with that?
Well, they
bowling
move
balls?
They
I don't
move
know.
dirt with that. Take a real good close look at the yellow stripe. That's a mule deer.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to say
mule
something
deer.
about
Yeah,
that.
that's a mule deer. This is Select Harness Incorporated, and they are one of our sponsors, big supporters. That's a pan scrape, and they move a lot of dirt. And their thing is move dirt, and
they could do it with that thing. I guarantee you that. That's awesome.
I want to give a quick shout out. We've got a birthday shout out right now. Matthew Watley was born on Mule Day 22 years ago today. And he's listening at Notre Dame in South Bend right now.
Awesome. Matthew.
Happy birthday.
See, Matthew's in South Bend, Indiana, showing off Mule Day to his college buddies,
Oh,
and we
yes.
couldn't be happier. We're up there on your birthday, Matthew.
Well,
Happy 22. I know you'd rather be down here, obviously.
I'm jealous that his birthday's on Mule Day. I wish my birthday was on Mule Day.
Yeah. Oh man,
that
makes it even better.
I don't know if I could remember a Mule Day if I was.
well,
my birthday was on Mule Day.
We got a people hauler here, and the people hauler goes out to the park. You'll see them giving rides all the way around. And right now, it's loaded up with the FFA.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's
great.
Back in the days, they would call that an omnibus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I ran it back away from Sarah Elizabeth. If you ever need me, I can play trivia with y'all. But this is so neat, y'all.
Now, Brady, these two, they kind of look like they're dancing a little bit like Lipizan stallions, but I don't know what breed of horse that is. It's some type of.
Those look like Pasafinos.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See how their necks are curved, beautiful, and they're kind of prancing like that? That is, that must be like gauchos, right? That's what gauchos would ride down in South America?
Yes. Right in front of us is the Best in Show, W.E. Mayberry of Columbia, Tennessee, entry number 40. That is a fine-looking setup.
Isn't that a beautiful wagon?
Yes, it is.
Look at those wheels. Those are the.
You have to scrub those.
I mean, that's the real-time wooden wheels on that wagon, and that's a lot of work goes into that piece of machinery right there.
And then the Gaited Mule Association. So you get a gaited mule from breeding to a Tennessee walking horse.
That's true. And
or
they
another gaited horse.
And they have bred jacks specifically for that. They have gaited jack stock now. Yeah.
That is awesome. And I've actually ridden one. It's like riding a Tennessee walking horse, but a lot bigger. If you're looking for a wagon, there is one for sale. You can go out to the park and probably find you a setup.
Set of mules, set of wagon, harness, you name it. It's all out there at Mule Day. You can join the fun next year.
Absolutely. And the care of all this equipment, like you have to clean the harnesses after you do a parade, or you work them, or you ride them. You've got to clean up your wagons. You've got to do all of that.
And just like when Sarah Elizabeth, with horses, and it's the same way. Your tack, all your leather, and all your harnesses, like you said, everything. It's all about a lot of hard work to get to some pleasure. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so raising children around a farm and teaching them the responsibilities of caring for a pony growing up, and their tack, and is just one of the best life lessons you can learn.
It is, and I'm very blessed that I get to grow up on my great-grandmother's farm, and my daughter is growing up there, and we're teaching her about her agrarian past.
Yeah.
And so we have the best mounted costume entry in front of us. You can barely see it. It's got some tie-dye on. It looks kind of like a hippie. It is Blue, Spears, and McGee group from Pulaski, Tennessee.
And here comes the van from Puckett's right
Yeah,
there. Coming into view.
I wonder if they have any fried green tomatoes with
Well,
them.
I'll tell you what they got. They got a great big trolley out there. The Dolly Trolley is at Mule Day,
Oh,
and you can get
fun.
Puckett's food right there outside the Baker Building, and then walk on in and get your souvenirs in the Baker Building. Following them is another Mule Day sponsor, Harmon Scrap Metal. We sure appreciate all of our sponsors that have made Mule Day possible and help us be financially secure.
That's good. Okay.
And like you said, Brady, it takes sponsors of it takes sponsors of all types to make this come off without a, pardon the pun, a hitch. So
that is true.
But I mean, it takes sponsors from the commercial world to the mule and horse equestrian world. I mean, it takes all kinds, right, to make this thing work.
It does everything from Puckett's to Roto-Rooter and Save the Day portables, because they come in, they set up all of our portables, and we can't thank them enough. They've been a long time supporter of Roto-Rooter of Tennessee, and we really thank them for their support.
And they're about to come into our frame. We're getting the camera adjusted so we can call it at the same time. So
And who hasn't needed a good Roto-Rooter at some point in their life? I mean, you know what I mean?
You always have problems.
I'm pretty sure.
It happens.
It happens. Yeah, there you go.
I'm pretty sure that's a representative of an old unit that they might not service anymore.
Oh, yes.
But you never know. Maybe give them a call, and
yeah.
they might come down and try and help you.
Yeah, probably so. Well, coming into the frame here in just a few minutes, we got Clayton Harris on the control board for the computer. We got Representative Scott Sapecki and Dr. Joey Hensley, our representatives in the state legislature.
That's all we got to say about that.
And, the next thing is a tombstone hearse.
Heritage tombstone hearse. So this type of tombstone is for motorcycle enthusiasts that have moved on into
The great beyond.
the other side.
The other
and so
realm.
if you have a motorcycle enthusiast that's looking for a special send-off, then contact Heritage
Funeral Home, and
they'll take care of it.
they also are in there with a tractor pulling a mule wagon, so they're maybe they're showing the transition in history from.
Yes. Well, and then there's a 1949 Ford that returns to Mule Day with Keith Baker driving, owner of Heritage Funeral Home.
I think I saw the same truck on Andy Griffith's show this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I swear, I think it's the exact. They were selling
You know
fruit.
they don't
were
make
selling
anything-
fruit or watermelons out of the back of it or something.
They don't make
And then-
anything
and then-
like Andy
and then-
Griffith
and then right
anymore.
after that-
And Barney
right-
had to tell them to move along, and it was just a big hoodoo.
And right after that, you saw the Jeep behind it on MASH.
There it is. So we're representing some sitcoms here in
TV Land is alive and well in Murray County.
You got that right.
Here's another one of our good sponsors here. This is Trips Ace Hardware. You go in, thank them for being a supporter, and we really appreciate all the help they've given us.
And they say we deliver, so they actually deliver.
And I'm going to have to grab my wife. She's running after those ferns right now. So I'm going to have to tell her, don't get out on the road and follow them. We'll just go down to Ace and buy one.
Yeah,
Get our
definitely go and see them. Trip Stoltz, he's a great guy, and he'll get you pointed in the right direction to whatever you need.
Do y'all think we'll have another frost before? You have the blackberry winter, the red bud winter.
I hope we're done.
Sometimes we have Mule Day winter.
Look, Puxatawny Phil said 6 more weeks, and that was February. Well, that was in February, right?
Yes.
So we're past that.
We're past
we're
that.
ready to move on.
We're just over these storms.
That's
y'all.
right. That's right.
We got the flowers rig in front of us. I need to bring my binoculars next year.
And Brady, you might know or you might not know, and if you don't, it's no big deal. But I'm sure there are entrants that we're watching that have been coming to Mule Day for decades.
Absolutely.
And there's probably their grandsons or granddaughters are now driving these wagons and these mule teams that they rode in the back of when they were little bitty babies.
In many, many instances, you'll see exactly that. We had young ladies, third generation actually, in the wagon competition yesterday at the park, in the mule driving competition, driving a team of mules. So yeah, it is, like we said before, it's a multi-generational thing, and that goes everywhere. Even on the committee, we have grandchildren that are taking over positions within the Mule Day committee. So it's a family thing all the way through and through.
And that's how you continue the tradition.
That is true.
You get your family. If your family's always done it, you just keep on moving.
And as you can tell, and people that are watching on us, watching the video streaming live here on WKOM, you can tell the different colors and different shades of the mules. And then they go anywhere from a buckskin to a chestnut to a bay to a roan, Appaloosas. I mean, here's a team. Of course, those are draft horses right there.
Yes.
But that's a beautiful gray and black draft horse. But mules come in many different colors and sizes.
Did you know that they are classified by size?
I had no
Here
idea.
we go.
All right, here we go.
Random
Let us know.
facts. A cotton mule weighs between 900 and 1,050 pounds.
Only?
And it's suited for Mississippi and the Carolinas where the soil is light. My papers are blowing away. A sugar mule weighs between 1,110 pounds and 1,300 pounds and is suited for the soil in the deep south. So, and then I found this in an old newspaper article when I was doing my research. According to a Colombian that was interviewed about a good mule, it should have a good dense bone in his feet, strong straight legs, well muscled shoulders, a short strong back, good hocks, a short full neck, pointed ears, and a good bright eye.
Well, there you go. That's all you
go.
need.
That's it.
Now I got one question. The Colombian, was that from Columbia or Columbia, Tennessee?
Columbia, Tennessee.
There you go. There you go.
The newspaper, y'all, researching. I love to research, as y'all know if you listen to Inside Middle Tennessee on Friday. I get on this kick of looking for stuff. And I went down the Mule Day rabbit hole.
Oh, no.
And I went through old newspapers. It's phenomenal. You get stories out of it. You get reporters. It's just
pictures.
Great. Pictures.
Probably
everything.
out of the Daily Herald archives, there is just no telling since 74 and then before.
The 40s. The 40s are so, because that was their only way of getting the information. They didn't have the TVs and all that. They had radio. And they had that. A newsreel company came to the first Mule Day, and there's clips of newsreel you can find on YouTube if you Google it. But it is just amazing, the stories. There's a story about a Wisconsin guy that was trying to make through the detour in town, stopped a cop, asked about it, and the guy saw him later that day at the bachelor's ball, and he said, "I thought you were in a hurry to get back to Wisconsin." He said, "Wisconsin, hell, I'm staying in Columbia for a week." So I just love digging in newspapers and finding out our community's history, and especially an event like this.
Now, Mule Day, and you're the historian here, Sarah Elizabeth, so you can tell me, but the Mule Day, Columbia, Tennessee is called the mule capital of the world.
Yes.
And it begun in 1840, and it was called Breeders' Day back in those days.
Yes, it was.
And it was a single day on a Monday, right, in
April.
In the first Monday in April.
You would bring all your livestock to town. That's where you would buy a mule or a new horse. Murray County was also known for harness racing, so they would also have their harness racing horses here, the trotters and the pacers. So they would come to town and get it. It was later known as Livestock Day. There were mule days throughout Tennessee. There's a beautiful postcard from Moore County in Lynchburg where Jack Daniels is made. They had mule days down there as well. But Columbia seemed to put a foothold in it because we also had an experiment station here that was run to test and
facilitate breeding and
all that. So it's just really neat when you get into that. But in 18...
Is that uncles? Is that? No, it's not. I'm sorry.
It's the Shriners have just come through.
I'm sorry.
The Shriners have just come
Okay,
through.
that's what it is.
But the first
I thought
time
we had some.
The first time I found an instance of them being able to buy a carload of mules was in 1868.
Isn't that crazy?
Right after the American Civil War.
Right. So Mule Day goes back to like 1934. Did you just say that?
No, I said that you could buy a carload of mules in 1868.
Okay. Well, today it's called Mule Day, but that goes back to like 1934. Is that right, Brady?
Yeah.
And in this article that I'm reading, and I kind of did a little brushing up on Mule Day before this broadcast.
It's good because there might be a pop quiz later.
Yes, it is. Yes. But it just keeps getting better and better and better.
It does.
And you were talking about back in the 1940s when it was going strong. Think about in the 1940s. There was, what a big deal this was.
Well, this was coming to town.
For all of South Central Middle Tennessee or Tennessee itself, it was such a big deal. Mule Day was, people would prepare probably for weeks or months. Right after Christmas, they'd start getting ready for Mule Day.
And put on your finest and come to town.
That's right. And you had dances and you had bands and you name it. The
governor would come. All kinds of dignitaries would come.
It was almost a rite of passage. Governors had to be here.
Yes,
it was too big to miss.
It was
and
too
it got
big
where
to
there's so many people here, they could, they wanted
You're
to be
not
seen.
A politician ain't gonna let that get by.
That's right.
Here we have the Army National Guard.
And even today, it's hard to sling a dead cat without hitting a politician. I'm just telling you.
Well, it's not an election year, so it's a little bit less. It's tamer than it normally is with all the politicians here.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna let that one go.
Whatever you say, Sarah.
Let that go.
Well, never mind. There's a really nice John Deere tractor coming through.
Yeah, these old antique John Deere tractors are really cool to look at.
I'm a sucker for those.
Compared to the high-tech tractors we see rolling through here today, and just the old school tight front end, long wheel suspension on the front end they're fun to look at.
Joe Vinsky with Summer Run Farm. That's a restored old John Deere tractor.
I love that wagon. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I'd ride around the back of that.
Oh, that would be fun.
Get a couple of cold ones and we can sit back there and be fun.
Be a good time.
Yeah, but a real good time.
It's all God's children getting pulled in there through the Bronco. Got a little equine theme going there with the automobile.
Middle Tennessee firearms training.
There you go.
I went to a training they conducted. They do an excellent job.
And we're happy to have them doing that.
Yes. I got some good music playing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Got some good music playing.
Williams Funeral Home right there. Is that Brady, what is that? Is that a top hat right there with some?
I believe it's a top hat with mule ears.
Okay, all right. I'm waiting for it to rise up out of the back of that wagon. And
maybe have a bunny rabbit in it.
Something going on right there.
My child is stomping the porch for some reason.
Well, she saw a bug over there.
She's a
kids
bug.
don't like bugs.
She's a bug killer.
We used to go around and pick them and pull their wings off. And now, kids nowadays, they can't stand them.
The wind dies down, then it comes right back up, then it dies down.
What? And Brady, tell me why maybe they haven't gotten here yet, but it seems like back prior Mule Days or when it was rejuvenated back in the 70s and 80s and even 90s, we saw a lot more high school bands. Do you know what
I do.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do, and we have, it's difficult because for our local band, it's spring break and the kids scatter, and so that's been a challenge for us is to have Mule Day, and then because the kids are gone. So we'd love to get some others participating, but for whatever reason, we haven't been able to do that.
Yeah. Well, and parades are always better with a marching band. Sarah, you were in
I was in the band. I loved it. It was great. If you play, well, I went to Central, so if you hear Redskins, Lou can attest to this. There is something in my blood that just goes, and you're just ready to go. Or we would play Rocky Top when we marched as well.
I'm sure that got a big roar out of the crowd.
But my mom and I do joint research sometimes. She said at one time there were 16 bands in the parade.
I don't doubt it.
Wow.
I don't doubt it.
How phenomenal would that be?
Y'all probably remember the Coors and the Budweiser
I remember
teams.
the Clydesdales
Yeah.
coming when I was little. That was the grandest thing to see the Budweiser Clydesdales.
And this float is playing a great song about the University of Tennessee, Dixieland Line.
Oh,
right there,
okay.
coming through.
Yeah, okay. What are we?
Now, boys.
Okay, I'm not arguing with Big Lou.
We'll save it. We'll save it for Monday.
Yeah,
We'll
save that
we'll
for
the
later. That
sports show.
Alabama-Tennessee conflict, let's leave that aside.
That's right. We're all going to get along today on Mule Day. We're going to put all that aside. So.
We are all friends and family today.
That's right. Of course, now you're thinking about the marching band, Sarah Elizabeth. You know, it's sometimes, you know, you're marching behind mules and horses. It's
Well,
not.
I think
It's not.
There's some strategery behind that, I think.
You have to learn to do the two-step.
Yeah. Or you wear your. I would always wear my old tennis shoes. The tennis
put your
shoes I did
spats
not
over 'em.
care of.
And you just throw them away.
And we didn't. We got to wear blue jeans and our Central High School band shirt. We did not have to wear a band uniform.
Really?
Because it was.
That'd make it a lot easier to walk that distance.
It is because our band uniforms had white shoes and white pants.
Not conducive to an equine-led parade.
No. So, but we would wear. There are pictures of me. My cousins were in the band. My mom was in the band. So it was so fun. And then there is a community band of older people that are in a group, and we would ride on a flatbed truck and play before the parade. We would go up the parade route on a flatbed and play. It was great. We had the best time.
And Brady, it's just so I know, and I don't know. Now these entries, they pay a nominal fee to be in the parade.
They do. They do not. These are open. The entries are open currently, and a lot of these are just local businesses coming out to support. You know, tell the community what they offer.
I always thought there might have been some type of nominal entry fee per entry, but that's great. It's free. Hey, this coming year, we'll get on the phone, call these local high schools, and get them say, hey, participate with your marching band and come on in here and.
We'd love for the community to reach out and start pushing that too, you know, because if they hear it from 100, it's going to be a lot better than they hear it from 2 or 3.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Well, and if you enter a mule or a horse, or even we've had cows and sheep in the parade, they have to have a Coggins test.
They do.
They have to go to the vet and make sure they're okay.
Right.
And you got to have a negative Coggins test.
But the marching band members do not have to.
No,
have that.
Yeah, we'll give the marching band members a pass. No Coggins required.
I just want to make sure that now there. We just saw go by. There was Provincia.
Yes.
Home security, and we want to give a shout out Coach Brad Slaughter, his son Auden Slaughter, the Mr. Single A, Mr. Basketball for the state of Tennessee this year.
Yes.
And they also were back for their second go around at the state tournament
That is
this
awesome.
past year. So congratulations to head coach Brad Slaughter, and he works at Provincia, and his son Auden, and all the great people out at in Santa Fe community, as they are well represented in this Mule Day Parade too. There's a lot of mules. There's a lot of mule enthusiasts in Santa Fe.
That's true. That's true.
Water Valley.
You'll see right here, this whole line number, they all got the same number. This is number 48. This is Bernie's Wagon Train. And a lot of people don't realize Mule Day has a wagon train, but there's half a dozen or more different wagon trains that come into Mule Day, and they actually drive their mules in for 2 and 3 days out to come and camp and stay at Mule Day.
Wow.
And this is that's an example of one of the groups that do that.
Well, I think Mule Day is kind of everybody in the community here that's been in Murray County and know anything about Mule Day. Mule Day officially starts on that Wednesday when they see the report of the mule train coming into Murray County.
Wagon train has arrived. That's the kickoff, exactly.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's when it starts. I mean, they start on Monday. But when they get here, that's when Mule Day is officially that's when we're kicking it off right there.
That was always a big thing to find out which way they were coming into town, and we would go park and see when they were coming into town.
And actually had a great crowd out at the park Wednesday when they came in.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Well, and there's a lot of things that go on at the park as well, doesn't it, Brady?
Look at those beautiful white mule train, those two mules. I just wanted to break in and just talk about.
Oh, they're beautiful.
You don't see an all white mule. So I'm sure it takes a combination of breeding
And luck.
And luck.
Yes.
Yeah, I got
and
you.
a lot of purple champagne.
Well, you probably have to mix in a roan mule with a you can't because mules don't.
No, you would have to have
like
mother.
a roan
Yeah.
mare, like a roan or a gray.
Well, if you're raising, you see the mare will throw a typical color, and with a certain jack combination. Once you find that color, that's where you keep breeding her. So you make pairs like that.
I got you. Well, they're beautiful and cool looking.
Yes, I have heard if a bride sees a white mule on her wedding day, it's good luck. I'm sorry, I'm full of random facts. Drake just looks at me like I'm crazy.
Where did you pull that out of? I don't know.
Welcome to Mule Day Trivia.
I'll tell you what. And you don't save that for your Friday morning show with Jim Hall?
I do trivia with them sometime, but I worked at the Walking Horse Celebration in Shelbyville for many years, and they do the Great Mule and Donkey Celebration, and I got to know some of the announcers for that. And there was a lady from Colorado that she was an announcer, and she had random mule facts, and I just absorbed every one of them.
Now this covered wagon that's pulling up right here, this tan with the tan top, they've got a little. I see in the back behind the driver, they've got a little blue heeler dog back there.
Oh.
And those little blue heelers, they are smart, but they're mean as snakes. I'm just telling you.
They can be ornery.
They'll take a finger off if you're not careful. Nickel Brothers Paving right there. They do a great job around Columbia.
And the surrounding area.
Keeping the roads nice and neat and pretty and blacktop for us.
Well, Brady, our papers are not flying right now.
Yeah.
We're getting a little break from the wind, and it's not coming over our mics as much. That's terrific.
This is just a beautiful day. You either freeze to death, get soaking wet, or get a sunburn.
Hey, this wind is nice. It's keeping us cool right here. As we are coming to you live, folks, right here on the front porch of WKOM 101.7 FM. Obviously, if you're joining us online or social media, we are streaming it, the video live. So if you're listening on the radio, been to the grocery store, ran some errands, and you're going in the house, you got time, you not behind the wheel of a car, pull us up, stream us live, and you can see what we're seeing. Right, Sarah Elizabeth?
Right, exactly.
Well, and you mentioned cattle in Mule Day. Here we got a couple of the Chick-fil-A cows coming through right now.
More chicken just came through.
Yeah, eat more chicken.
Parks Motor Sales just came through in their new Hummer.
Yeah, if I was a cow, I'd definitely be promoting chicken consumption.
Well,
yeah.
Tractor Supply. That is a really fancy chicken coop.
That is the easiest to keep chicken in the back of that truck you'll find anywhere.
The chickens have their own RV right there. Look at that thing.
You'll see anything.
I wonder if there's like a bunk up at the top that the chicken's in the bottom and you sleep in the top. Surely not. I wouldn't think that
would be. That's a double decker.
I wouldn't think that'd be a good combination.
That's a chicken party house.
Yeah.
Got Ford and Hyundai of Columbia out there on the Nashville Highway. The wind came back. I spoke too soon.
Yep. It's here again, but we'll just have to work through it.
But do you know, when I was doing the research and stuff, one year they did not allow any motorized vehicles in the parade. This was in the 30s, though, 30s and 40s. And
I don't know. I mean, that kind of
makes probably easier to enforce at that time because there was less vehicles around.
Yes.
And another fun fact, and I'm sure you guys knew this, but the Mardi Gras committee, Mardi Gras parade committees out of New Orleans used to come up here in the early 1900s, and they would buy and trade mules that pulled the Mardi Gras floats for the Mardi Gras plate for year after year after year. And that just shows you another part of American history and Americana that the mule has been a part of all these years. And they came to Columbia, Tennessee to buy and trade those mules straight out of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes.
Impacted by Columbia.
And the Park Service would come to the mule sales and buy them for the pack mules and that kind of stuff.
They use them for maintenance in the mountains and remote areas for trails and hiking trails. They actually have custom panniers made. You put gravel in, and they haul gravel in, and you pull a string on the bottom, and the bottom falls out, and the gravel falls right in the trail.
That's fantastic.
And I would imagine mules are used in the Grand Canyon to pack down into the canyon and back out.
Still do. You can ride both the north and south rim. You can ride in and out on mules.
And you get a certificate.
Yep.
My cousin did that. And then in 1939, I think this is one of the grandest things. 1,000 girls on 1,000 mules.
That was their kind of motto.
No, that's what they did. They had 1,000 girls on 1,000 mules. It was a mile long, and the men of the American Legion walked beside the mules, and the ladies were from each of the 10 civil districts here in town.
That's interesting.
And a little side note on that, it was a good time to be a guy.
Yeah, I
that Mule Day. I'm going to tell it. With 1,000 girls, your odds are pretty good right there.
I bet we could do that again, Brady, but it would be hard to get some youngsters to be comfortable around a mule, maybe.
Well, that might be true. I think we'd have a hard time getting 1,000 riding mules and 1,000 girls to ride them. I don't know which would be harder, the mules or the girls.
I don't know. If you, I took a horse to a historic house one time. I was doing a living history thing, and a kid walked up and he said, "That's a real live horse." I said, "Yes, sir, it is." He said, "I thought it was stuffed."
Still.
And if you're watching us on streaming us and watching video right now, look at these beautiful paints that are coming up right here, Brady.
Spotted saddle horses.
Yeah, aren't they? I mean, aren't they just terrific? Look at that. They are just beautiful horses.
They are awesome. I have a spotted saddle horse. She is 22. She is beautiful as the day I got her.
And this girl is getting them to kind of rear up a little bit. It looks like it's an accident, but I think they're kind of trained to do that on cue, maybe. I hope. We need to see anybody get dumped right here on West 7th Street.
No. Let's
on the live stream.
On the live stream. Let's do some safety things. Don't ever walk behind a mule or a horse.
That is true. That is true. They can reach further than you think. You need to stay back about 6 feet. We always see people at the park just wandering around, kids with strollers, right through the middle of a bunch of fired up mules coming out of a pull or something. They're not from around here.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's either a mule or a donkey or a burro that can kick sideways, not just straight back. A horse kicks straight back, but from what I understand, it's either a donkey or a mule or a burro that can kick out to the side.
They're both of them. I have been kicked at the side by mules before that I thought were like Jet Li or something,
It's not fun. It's not fun. I'm sorry for laughing. It is not fun being kicked.
And so that's why a lot of people that raise sheep and stuff like that will have one of those type of animals. They use it because they can kick, and if they kick a coyote, and they can kick to the side. If they kick a coyote, it can end the coyote's career. If you know what I mean.
It will. They will actually. They're very territorial. I had a mule like that, and she would not allow anything in the pasture that wasn't one of us. Like our cats and dogs could wander through, but if a stranger did, she put head down and go after him.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Our mule did the same. I'm not going to tell. He mashed one of my cats flat as a pancake because he didn't know who it was.
Another nice group of wagons coming through here and riders.
How many entries did y'all have this year, Brady?
It was well over 200. I can't tell you exactly. That's Mandy Mills Ballywick, and she hands me a list and says she does a great job. And I'll tell you, it's a lot more into it than most people think, and we got to give hats off to her because she's done a great job with it. And we couldn't the parade's got to have somebody over it, and she does a great job at it.
It's awesome.
This covered wagon entry number 63 right here. You'll notice these two buckskin draft horses in front, and they're kind of each picking their heads up and laying them down, and they're kind of talking to each other right there as they're pulling that wagon and kind of putting on a little bit of a show right there.
Yeah, that's Randall Boswell. He comes to us from Rickman, Tennessee.
But if you watch them, they're kind of picking their heads up and laying them down. They're having a big time. They're having just as much fun as we are looking at them, and they're putting on a show for us.
Well, and if you stop the momentum, they get kind of irritated sometimes.
Little Miss Mule Day. There's a song about Little Miss. No, that's not the same song.
It's not the same.
Adelie is Little Miss Mule Day. Congratulations, Adelie.
And then there's Miss Junior Mule Day, Joni Sims.
That was the Spin Doctors, I think, that had that song.
Oh, yes, Little Miss Can't Do.
Can't do wrong.
Can't do wrong or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
hey, I got you.
Can't do. Let's see. There is Petite Miss Lawrence County, Aubrey Keeling.
And I mean, just like mules, our young ladies and beauty contest winners, they come in all ages and sizes. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I think
Petite,
that is awesome.
little miss. I mean, junior miss. So you got it.
Talk about the flag, man.
The wind has decided to take Brady and my papers
It has,
on a ride.
it has returned.
Right there, you see two buckskin mules pulling that tan-colored wagon right there. They're beautiful.
And that's Chris Coggin and group coming from Leeds, Alabama.
Oh, there is a lady that has a lemur on her head.
Oh my gosh, sure is.
I'm sorry, Lou. I just, oh my.
Two of them.
Oh, two lemurs on their head.
There's a baby lemur attached to the bigger
Yes,
lemur.
there's a girl on a large mule with
lemurs.
Okay, is that a first?
That's a first.
with
I'm going to mark
lemurs
that down
riding
today.
on top of her head.
That's definitely a first for me.
And
I
really
thought I'd seen it all, y'all. I was out at the dog show yesterday at Mule Day, and there was a woman in the dog show with a lizard.
A lizard.
Cat a lizard. She had
Trying to
some
make
kind,
it-
some
trying
kind
to-
of fancy bearded dragon thing.
Trying to pass it off as a dog?
No, she was
Oh,
showing her
okay.
dog and petting her lizard at the same time.
Was it an iguana? An iguana?
No, it was she called it a bearded dragon. I just figured
yeah.
that was an iguana with a bigger price tag, but I don't know.
Hell,
Yeah, but I mean, anybody seen Madagascar? I'm sure.
Yes,
King Julian.
I've never hail King Julian.
That's pretty funny.
That is so funny. So y'all are having music at the 4-H tonight, right?
That is true. That is
at the
true.
4-H.
Music and there'll be live music at the main stage off and on all throughout Mule Day.
Okay, fantastic. Well, back in the day, they would have the Bachelor's Ball, and they came up at the Tobacco Warehouse, so that would be behind the courthouse. It's no longer there. But ladies wore gingham dresses, and their dates wore overalls with a mule silhouette sewn on the front. They had a dance step known as the mule step.
Well, there you go. Do you know that dance?
I do
Sarah?
not.
Could you
I do not.
We can flip the camera around.
No, we're not
put the
gonna
camera
put
on you
camera
right here
on.
on the porch, and you can break it down for
I'm
us.
good. I'm good. Thank y'all for asking.
Okay,
though.
all right.
I wish somebody would try to find that, how to do the mule step and teach it.
I struggle with the two-step, so I might have to skip out on that.
It might be easier than the two-step.
Brady, the Jug Creek Farms just went by us up the road, and I just noticed they had two beautiful buckskin mules, and they were just in tremendous shape. Just, you know what I mean? You can kind of tell, you can look at a horse or an equine species and just tell when they're fit. And I'm telling you, those two mules from Jug Creek Farms were in beautiful, beautiful condition.
You want to talk about fit? Right now, that's already started. The mule pull is going on at the park right now. That is fit. That's weightlifter 101.
Do you want to kind of go through and tell our listeners what happens after the parade, where they can go?
You need to follow the parade route right straight out to the Murray County Park, because there's going to be all kind of festivities, live music, all the food you can dream of out there, and of course the mule pull and all.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. There is something for everybody.
How much they can pull, and they're still used in logging as well. But it is always a treat to go out to the park, because you see all kinds of stuff like that. Plus, you can eat all kinds of things, from a fried Oreo to a turkey leg.
You know, and we have decreed that everything on the park is calorie-free Mule Day weekend.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
guilt-free. Just go out and have it at it.
Yeah, if you want 2 fried Snickers,
Have
we
them.
got 2 fried
Snickers.
Snickers. I mean, that's, and that sounds pretty good. What do you say, Big Lou? Fried?
I don't know. That might be taking it a step too far. Maybe,
I don't
you
know,
never know.
Snickers. I'm kind of a fan of Snickers. Anything. I'm ready for Snickers, Snickerdoodles, ice cream, Snickers, anything. Frozen Snickers.
Wow. Welcome.
There's our friends from Holloway Waste Management, which, they do their job. We need them too. You know what I mean?
Exactly. There is a country boy Kathy coming through in a Stan McNabb truck.
It's a good-looking truck.
Mr. Kathy. He's a staple around these areas.
He is.
Chris Kathy.
The next float is the weather down in Muletown. Captain and Bobby. I watched some of them during the last few nights.
He's been popular this week.
Yes,
He certainly has. We watched him also.
Fantastic group that does that. I appreciate what they do, because sometimes the Nashville stations, you switch between all three to figure out if you're in danger or not, but he can tell you exactly.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's specialized on us. He's looking at us. He's not looking at everybody else.
And that is about the coolest, prettiest concrete truck I have ever seen in my life. Look at that thing.
It's probably brand new.
I'd take
It looks
a
brand new.
date out on Saturday night in that thing. I'm telling you. I mean, kind of spice it up a little bit. Take her out in the concrete truck.
You talk about out of state, these right here. Happy Mule Day on the side of that. It's Charles Elmore coming to us from Lake Cormorant, Mississippi.
Oh, wow. Well, now we're to near the end, right, Brady?
We're getting down to the end of it.
The sheriff's department, the sheriff's mounted patrols up there on their horses. Steve Kindler is on his horse. I can't see the other guys.
You know, and we put them to work too. They rode outriders for us with the wagon train Monday through Wednesday.
Fantastic.
Yep. Great group of sheriffs, and they do a lot for us out here.
And I tell you what, a lot of these big cities that have big events, just crowd control issues, a lot of them use horses. I don't know if they use mules, but I know for a fact they still to this day use horses and have a brigade normally in that police department.
And sometimes they are in Nashville, especially their Tennessee walking horses.
And they are used to control the crowds and do a terrific job at it.
Well, you sidestep a 1,200-pound quarter horse up against somebody, he gets a lot less rowdy.
I don't care how much he's had to drink.
Yeah, he gets a lot less rowdy when that horse is looking down on him.
I wonder how many of these people continuously ride throughout the year, or they decided to ride today.
Well, if you know a little bit of something about tack and the accoutrements needed and how to keep a horse, you can pretty much
all
tell.
year round.
You can tell. There are some that look like this is their only trip to town every year.
Exactly.
And then there are others that you can tell are regularly ridden.
Your trail riders, the folks that go, that have communities that they go out and meet and trail ride over the weekend, different parts of the South, Southeast, Midwest. Those are the guys. And like you said, Brady, you talk about their tack. You can't really take a leather saddle, and pull it out once a year. You have to keep that saddle clean, oiled up.
Put a cover on it.
You know, it's not like it's not like an old baseball glove that you can just throw in the back of the closet and pull out and play baseball.
They'll get stiff on you.
They'll start to crack and everything else. So you got to keep them.
And then when you're riding, you'll find the weak spot the hard way.
Oh yeah.
If you don't do proper maintenance,
your stirrup will come off in your hand.
Your stirrup leathers. You need to keep them healthy. If they start to crack, next thing you know, your stirrup breaks off and you fall off. So.
Yeah, gravity wins every time.
Every time. Brady and I know for a fact. Oh. Lewis's fan club has arrived.
It's actually Coker Scott. He's staying with me. He actually is a former resident of Muletown, and his family is a big part of this community. And lives in Mississippi now in Oxford, goes to Ole Miss, and he came up for Mule Day today. So
awesome.
That's cool that he came back. It's his first Mule Day in 10 years.
Oh, welcome home. Well, this has been a pleasure, gentlemen. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, it's been a great parade. The weather's holding out. We want to encourage everybody to come out to the park and enjoy the rest of Mule Day festivities today.
And we also want to tell everybody, keep an eye. You know, we've had some great weather. The good Lord has been friendly to us and done us a big favor so far today. But there might be some more weather coming in this afternoon, evening.
Later.
Very later.
Let's just,
Brady says very later.
Well, I'm just saying, be aware of it. I mean, we don't want anybody to get caught up anywhere where they're going to put themselves in some type of jeopardy. So just pay attention to the weather, what's going on. Enjoy Mule Day. Get out to Murray County Park and have a big time. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
And this has been a great day, y'all. A totally great day.
I appreciate you letting me join you guys. And
we're happy.
y'all don't forget, tune in Monday morning at 7 to Mule Day Monday, and we'll try to do a whole rundown on what took place and talk about the highlights of Mule Day.
We've got plenty of them. So.
Well, let's book it for next year, y'all.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
We really appreciate everybody that's tuned in today on WKOM on the radio or on our live stream, and it's been a fantastic parade. And I appreciate you guys pretty much making me not talk the whole time because you guys had all the information. I didn't really say much.
Well, that's what you do for a living, Lou. So
let us amateurs step up once in a while.
Yes.
Yeah. We're just giving your voice box a little bit of a break.
I appreciate it.
Right.
Your golden pipes. Baby.
I will type you up some random facts next year, and you can spit out some stuff.
That'd be fantastic because I don't have a lot of them.
Oh, he's going to take our. Who is this?
Yeah, this is Tucker Scott. This is Coker's brother that I just talked about. But yeah, Tucker lives in Nashville. He comes to Mule Day a lot, but Coker's first Mule Day in 10 years. So
this is so much fun, and
there's a lot of people like that.
Yes, they come home.
Yeah, I mean this is a great event that people want to come back to.
And let me tell you what, and we've talked about it. We've talked about the high tech and everything. And I was thinking about this on the way over here. We drove by Foodland parking lot up here.
Yes,
it's a big parking lot, and I told my wife, I said, all these people coming to Mule Day Parade, you know what the greatest thing about it is? They don't have to pay $40 or $50 to park in a parking lot like we have to when we go to Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
This is good, wholesome family outing. It's fun.
It's
and
great.
It doesn't cost a dime. It takes a little bit of your time, a little bit of maneuvering, but you can bring the kids to it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy the parade.
It's something that you and your family and your kids will remember for the rest of their lives.
Oh, yes. I have so many fond memories of coming to Mule Day with my family, and my grandparents are gone now, and I have brought Ellie Grace. She was born in July. She's been coming every year.
Well, there you go.
That's like at the park, and that's a great value. Talk about values. Kids under 12 get in free.
And that's amazing.
Kids under 12 free, and adults are only $10. So, I mean, you can come out and spend the whole day at Mule Day for $10 or $20 for your whole family.
Yes, and that's a good wholesome fun out at the park.
And, of course, here comes one of the most important entries of the whole parade.
The street sweepers.
The street sweepers are approaching as they're coming up West 7th and heading out towards Murray County Park and
sweeping the people to the park.
God bless the street cleaners. That's all I can tell you. Right?
A little bit more than people to the park.
Yeah.
Does that officially mean the party's over? The parade is over.
But don't turn out the lights. There's a lot more going on.
For some people, that might mean the party's just beginning.
Yeah.
Now, back when I was your age, Big Lou, that's right. The party
had just begun.
We're just about to head to somebody's house at this point and continue on in the evening. But we want to tell you folks, if you're listening to us and you're having a big time at Mule Day, do not drink and drive. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a friend. We want you to make it through Mule Day safe and make it and be able to enjoy it for many Mule Days to come. So if you've been out drinking, please don't drive. It's very easy just to pick up a phone, call a friend, an Uber or a Lyft.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Well.
All right. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to Mule Day today, the 51st annual Mule Day Parade. Party's definitely not over.
Party is moving to the park.